Obama administration holdovers Mel Watt left and Richard Cordray are taking risks with loan policy. Bloomberg via Getty Images. A pair of top Obama-appointed bank regulators still serving in the Trump administration could spark another mortgage meltdown by lowering credit standards and encouraging risky lending practices. Democrat Mel Watt, who is serving a special 5-year term as head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, is pushing the mortgage lending giants he regulates, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to offer home loans to deadbeat borrowers with shaky credit, setting up conditions for another housing market crash, industry officials warn. Meanwhile, the other Obama holdover, liberal Democrat Richard Cordray, who continues to head the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau through 2018, has launched an unprecedented crackdown on credit reporting bureaus for allegedly widespread errors and bias, leading the industry to strip some negative information from credit reports used by home lenders, which analysts fear could blind them to default risks. "We are dumbing down the requirements all over again," warned former Chief Fannie Credit Officer Ed Pinto. "It's getting very dangerous. Credit scores of approved borrowers, for example, already have been trending down, even as their debt levels have grown, according to Ellie Mae, a leading mortgage data firm. And the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency recently warned this easing trend over the past 3 years is similar to the degree of easing in the years preceding the 2008 financial crisis." Watt, a former Congressional Black Caucus leader, has been demanding Fannie and Freddie ease credit standards, just as the feds did starting under President Bill Clinton, in pursuit of the same goal to help African Americans achieve the goal of home ownership, as Watt declared in a recent speech in New Orleans. In his remarks, the former North Carolina lawmaker, who once demanded Freddie-back home loans for welfare recipients in his district, urged underwriters to increase flexibility when qualifying low-income blacks to help overcome historic discrimination. "The truth is that the egregious historical forms of housing discrimination, such as racially restrictive covenants and overt racist attitudes, have largely given way to other intractable obstacles that negatively impact African American home ownership," Watt said. "One of those obstacles," he argues, "is down payment requirements. Perhaps the most difficult challenge many African Americans face in obtaining a mortgage is the lack of down payment. So now, borrowers need only put 3% down to get a Fannie-backed loan, even if the down payment is a gift." Fannie also has started up a new subprime lending program. Such loans were blamed for plunging millions of minorities into foreclosure in the last housing crisis. "We should all be advocating for African Americans," Watt told the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, while applauding the group for participating in a project to increase the number of black homeowners by 2 million over the next 5 years. What's more, Watt has instructed Fannie and Freddie, who went bankrupt last decade after guaranteeing too many risky loans, to back home loans for borrowers whose household debt consumes up to 50% of their income. Flexibility to allow for higher DTI's debt-to-income ratios is extremely important to supporting home ownership for African Americans, he said. "We are dumbing down the requirements all over again. It's getting very dangerous." Ed Pinto, the FHFA chief, has also ordered Fannie and Freddie to back home loans for borrowers who do not have credit scores, he told brokers, a pool that includes undocumented immigrants and deadbeats. "All they have to do is show they've paid utility bills or rent on time," he said. Fannie and Freddie rely on FICO credit scoring to predict risk. But Watt thinks FICO credit is too strict and cuts off millions of low-income minorities and immigrants from mortgages. So he's pressing Fannie and Freddie to adopt a more forgiving model. "We have the pedal to the metal on adopting a new model," he said. Analysts say the loosening of credit criteria will have a ripple effect throughout the housing market. The federally controlled mortgage giants set the underwriting standards for the entire mortgage industry. Cordray, meantime, has sicked his powerful agency, CFPB, on Equifax, Experian and TransUnion, to help ease credit restrictions on minorities as well. In a recent speech, Cordray said he hopes to bring more than 10 million minorities who don't have credit scores, due to a lack of recent credit history or too much derogatory information in their credit files, into the market for home loans by having the credit reporting bureaus include alternative data in files to help them build a credit history and gain access to credit. Such files, he says, would draw from unconventional sources including monthly cell phone payments, even though such records are not loan accounts and do not predict the ability to repay debt. The Bureau's work related to alternative data has focused on ways that such data may help consumers who lack sufficient traditional credit history to obtain a credit score, CFPB spokesman Sam Guilford explained. Analysts fear the changes could inflate the credit scores of high-risk borrowers, making them look more creditworthy than they really are, and hurt bankers' ability to make sound loans. In a recent industry report, LexisNexis Risk Solutions warned deleting negative public records data from credit reports could be catastrophic for the housing market, because homebuyers with judgments and tax liens are 5 times as likely to default on a mortgage as people without those records. Watt has helped sell the changes by having Fannie send letters to nervous mortgage lenders it purchases loans from, urging them to continue to have full confidence in the credit reports. Watt's office did not respond to requests for comment. Cordray, for his part, insists alternative credit scoring may paint a more complete and perhaps a more accurate picture of creditworthiness. Guilford further noted that the agency has stressed creditworthiness by issuing a rule requiring lenders to assess borrowers' ability to repay their mortgage, though the rule sets no minimum credit score. Industry officials worry that when the economy and housing prices turn south again, a lot of these politically influenced loans will go bust, just as they did last time. It's the definition of insanity, Pinto said. Paul Sperry is a former Hoover Institution media fellow and author of The Great American Bank Robbery, the unauthorized report about what really caused the Great Recession.